Brennan, and joining me tonight is Jess.
Word up, y'all.
Word up. And Nicole. Hi. Hello. And Mama K.
Everybody, tell me what's the word? Word up.
Bird. Bird.
The bird is the word.
Word up. Okay.
Hi.
We are doing our end of year, not end of year show, but we're doing our last catch up show for things in end of 2024, beginning of 2025, because the next show will be our end of year big show where we do our top fives and the draft and the bottom five and all kinds of other fun stuff. But this is the last rounding up on the last batch of movies we saw at the end of 2024. I loved the first half of 2024, second half. Little more of a lull, a little busier with other stuff, but I don't know. You guys enjoyed the things you've seen recently as a whole?
Honestly, I don't think so.
Oh, damn. So you're with me. First half of the year stronger than second half.
Yeah, you were.
Although I
big
guess
on the
every year
first
you
half
say
of
it's
the
a...
year.
I was huge on the first half of the year. I think
Yeah.
I'm looking at I'm doing my preliminaries, looking at my end of year stuff, and yeah, it's definitely front year heavy for front of the year heavy, which is
the end of the
atypical.
year.
Usually the better stuff
It died.
comes out later. You've been enjoying your shows, Nicole?
Show singular? Yeah.
Gotta add a lot of variety to the
Wait,
episode
I can't wait
this
to
evening.
talk
Let's
about
get-
that, though. I can't
I'm
wait
here
to
for
talk
moral
about that.
support more than anything.
You ask good questions. Sometimes we
Yeah.
have to, you're a good surrogate for someone in their life who doesn't want to ever watch a movie. So how much you can get them over the line. So let's start with something new that most of us have seen. Sorry, Nicole. Conclave. Conclave, the new, it's on Peacock. Is that right? Peacock film. So not a lot of people have probably seen it. It stars our boy Ralph Fiennes. I think we've talked about Ralph Fiennes before.
Yep.
And it's an ensemble. It's got a bunch of other people. But it's about a cardinal who is running the conclave for the Catholic Church after the Pope dies. They got to elect the new Pope. And so it's a real Pope or cardinals in back rooms doing deals. There's scandals. It's very scandalous, all these sassy men in robes. So what did you guys think of Conclave? Let's start with Mama K first. What did you think of Conclave?
I was really looking forward to Conclave. I'm sort of on the Focus Features situation that they have online, so I get a lot of emails about their movies coming up, and so I was like, okay, so this sounds good. What are they going to do that's different than like Dan Brown's Angels and Demons kind of thing? So I was really curious about it, and Ralph Fiennes is a great guy. I enjoy watching Stanley Tucci, so
Tooch.
The Tooch, yeah. So I was really looking forward to this, and I finally just got to see it. Like I'm less than 24 hours old from it.
Oh, wow.
And I would say, Jess, you saw Conclave. How did you come across this one? Because this is a streaming one. It's not one that I would think would enter your circles, but you got to it. So what?
I know.
What made you
So,
interested?
in the mood to watch a movie, I was on Netflix, or I was on TikTok and looking through everyone's like top whatever 2024 movies. Conclave came up twice. I remember it was playing in theaters, and I wanted to see it because I assumed it was a scary movie since it had like nuns in
okay.
it.
Well, it is a little scary, honestly.
And I was like, oh darn,
It's not a horror film.
That's one I thought it was. I was like, oh, that's some nun movie I forgot to watch. So let's put that on.
Oh my god, you thought it was like The Nun or like The Exorcist or something.
And I watched it, and I was... First of all, I felt racist because I couldn't tell any of them apart. I didn't know who was who. They all looked exactly the same. Honestly,
they couldn't look more different. They're all from different countries.
well,
I felt
okay,
racist.
there was an African one, and there was like some from different cultures, but all the white guys exactly the same, sounded the same, looked the same. They all wore the same thing. I couldn't follow.
Of course
any
they
of
did.
it.
Wait, you know what? Let me bolster Jess a little bit, because I was a little confused by the names, honestly, when they would say so and so blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, which dude is that? And I almost in my mind I was like, which white dude is that? So yeah.
That's surprising. I actually thought I I thought I could hold because when it comes down to like 6 or 7 kind of guys, I would say something like that. And like I guess 3 of them are plain white guys, but even they have different accents. Like they're all like I don't think anyone's even the same nationality technically. So I don't know. It's just a tough one to get on your guys'.
I think it's the outfits that made it even worse.
Well, they have to dress like that. That's what they're. It's like a uniform. Well, I mean, do any of them have to do any of this? I mean, do any of us have to do any of this? But
True.
All right. So you thought it was going to be a horror movie. You couldn't tell the people apart. Did you like any of it, Jess?
No, I fell asleep probably halfway through.
No,
I couldn't do it. I tried to follow it.
Did you enjoy Mama Kay? And as someone who was looking forward to it,
Jess missed when the ghosts popped out. She fell asleep.
I know. She missed when the horror.
Yeah, you missed what at the end.
Happened.
One of the old white guys was revealed to be evil, shockingly, and then just one.
Damn.
Shockingly. Well, I mean, and I think Nicole here as what? Are you the only Catholic on board? Because maybe you do have something to say about why they all have to wear the same outfit. I don't know.
Are you Catholic?
Since when are you Catholic?
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna say.
Why'd you think she was Catholic?
I too feel indifferent about the choice
of
the costume design
of having to wear everyone wear the same outfits.
Oh, right.
That's true. You didn't even have everyone on your bridesmaids wore different stuff. So I'm just trying to think of a comparison point, an important event. I really enjoyed Conclave. This is one of the best movies I've seen in the back half of the year. I really like this. This is a people talking in rooms kind of movie.
I really liked it too, and in the beginning, I mean, did you guess anything that was going to happen?
Most of it, yeah, except for the final thing, except for the very last thing, which is we cannot spoil because it's. I don't know if you even got there, Jess, but it was a true I did not see that coming at all. But
I did, but that's awesome. That's what I thought. It was like, this is.
It was the best. It was like a 3.5, 4 because most of the stuff I predicted, most of the I think this guy will get I almost got the votes to a T. Like I was like, I bet this is gonna happen. I bet this is gonna happen. Like I was pretty right ahead of it. But the last thing is, but it's very well written and like everyone's acting so good. Like I just like people talking in rooms. It's that last reveal that grabs an extra half star for me, and the way it's done and the final conclusion is very good.
It was a lot of drama. It felt like I was watching a reality show, like the Kardashians.
Dude,
but
that's what people were saying. They were like, "Look at all these bitchy queens in robes trying to snatch a win. This is RuPaul's Drag Race. Like this is not even."
It literally was, but the dresses are better on RuPaul, and you can tell.
Except it's
apart,
John Lithgow. So. Yeah. No, I highly recommend Conclave. It's like a 4 or 4.5 kind of on the line, and probably won't quite make my top. Yes, yeah. If it's just, it's a people talking in rooms movie, and that's I love those. I didn't know what to expect going in. It takes a minute. It does take until like the Pope dies, and then the guys start showing up, and then you're like, oh, here come the fun character with the wacky different Pope wannabes showing up. It's kind of good. So
did they show the black smoke at the end?
Yeah. They showed the white smoke at the end. When they get the new Pope.
When they pick them?
Yeah. Yeah, so they had when they don't have it, they did several votes, and every vote that they don't get not unanimous, I guess 2/3 of the cardinals voting, it's a black smoke. And then when they finally get the Pope, it's white smoke. Purity, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure that's part of it.
It's a good thing I'm not Catholic, because I think I would get
apologies for
that.
Thinking you were Catholic.
That's okay.
Is this going to be up for
awards,
you think? Like the screenplay or any of the acting? Because
definitely, it's all like, white people. White people love white people.
It's not all white people.
Isn't the Pope that got...
We can't spoil that.
I didn't watch this. I just saw that 5 minutes at the end.
Yeah,
yes.
Whatever. It's fine. One more thing I wanted to say was it's directed by Edward Berger, who made All Quiet on the Western Front a couple years ago, the German version. So yeah, I loved that movie when I saw it, and now that I saw this and halfway through looked up who was making it, because I'm like, this is just so tight. Who is this? And then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And yeah, he's on my list. I got to go back and see his other stuff now.
Cinematography, pretty good. I loved, there was a couple of scenes where, I don't remember why, but they all have umbrellas. I guess it was raining. And it's shot from above.
Good shit.
And yeah, it's just super artistic. And because it's not, I mean, this is just something that happens all the time. And the stories behind it, I bet, are even wilder than what we saw on the screen. This, the actual crazy stories that happen. So
I like it that it's light too. Like I love there's tons of levity. The fucking Italian like fascist guy has like this crazy vape hit in the middle of a vote. I'm just like, what is happening right now? There's another scene where a bunch of the cardinals are smoking cigarettes outside. Like it's all like, oh yeah, they're just like guys, just like in a place.
Yeah, and they just
like,
leave their cigarette butts on the ground. It's like it is. It's like, oh, these are just people,
yeah, just guys being guys. Dressing up in our robes, But all right, that is Conclave. It sounds like 2 recommends and a 1 nap.
We can't talk about the actual spoiler.
No, we can't. We can't talk about the end.
Okay,
it's amazing. It's really good. It's a really good twist. We're not going to say it here. What are you going to say about it?
That
you can't even talk about it without accidentally giving it away because there's no way you would even guess that that's a twist going in.
Wait, I thought we spoil stuff. Are the rules different?
Well, on our so we used to when we used to do like individual episodes because we would talk about it for like 10 minutes, but now that it's more like we're given like little snippets kind of thing of each one,
Okay, well this is gonna make people want to see it because we can't even talk about it. So go.
That's what I said. Like you can't, like you don't want to, if anyone's not seen Conclave and seen the other movies and then they listen to this like, oh, I don't know if I want to see, like you should see this and you should not know what happens at the end because it's good. It's good.
Yeah, it makes it much better.
Sure. It does. If I knew that going in, I think I would be deflated the whole time, and I would be like, I don't know. I think it would take something out of it for me. So I would recommend.
It does give you a lot more to talk about once you talk about that, though. Just putting that out there. That it is a very.
It adds another dynamics that we haven't talked about yet, but
Let's
I think that's
something
okay.
to talk about. You guys were just going to talk about so much.
How about we move on to another newish film that I think Jess and Mama Kay have seen, and that is Carry On, a new, what is that, Apple TV? Is that why you guys saw it?
No, it's actually Netflix.
Where is it?
Yeah, Netflix.
Oh, okay. That's right. You guys have.
Yeah,
that's right. You guys are both Netflixers. We do not.
Yeah.
Do not have Netflix. So Carry On, starring. I'm seeing here. What is this?
Taron Egerton.
Taron Egerton. Okay. Well, what do you guys think of a young? What was that?
Jason Bateman?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Wait.
No.
Who's the Ozark guy?
Oh.
Ozark is Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
I'm saying a young airline security guard is blackmailed by a mysterious passenger who threatens to smuggle a dangerous package onto a plane on Christmas Eve.
I heard Jason
Bateman's in this, it says.
Sorry.
Why are you guys saying Jason Bateman's not in this?
No, she thought it said Jason Statham.
Jason Statham.
Those are not remotely the same people.
Not similar at all. Jess, why don't you go on this one? Carry On. Is this more of a Jess style movie?
Yeah, so I've found some girls that I like on TikTok that have good recommendations for shows and TV. So I've been probably watching more TV shows and movies than I have been in the past just because I actually have some good recommendations. So everyone's been talking about this show. Kind of a Christmassy show, but it's not super Christmassy. I think it's only Christmassy because it happens on Christmas. But I decided to watch it. I think it was just a good Netflix show. There was definitely some holes in it, as every Netflix movie is. But it was a fun watch. Everything was very fast paced. You're wondering what happens next. It was fun seeing Jason other than an Ozark guy, because I just think of him as the Ozark guy. The agent was extremely resourceful. I like to see where his mind was at, thinking of how he's going to solve this conundrum that he was put in. The girlfriend was cheesy, but it was just kind of like that cheesy love, Christmassy kind of thing. But overall, I would go to thumbs up. I think Brennan would hate it because the writing wasn't super great, and there was just a lot of holes in it.
Interesting. I see here it's got decent Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic, IMDb. It's in like the 6s to 8s, 7s and 8s. That's solid. But Mama Kay, your thoughts on Carry On based on
I agree with Jess that I am pretty sure that you would not like this movie.
I'm so glad I didn't see it.
It's a little cookie cutter, and I found the beginning actually to be really slow. Like until we get to the part, the setup is really long, and until we get to the part where Taron Egerton's character finally is just like, okay, I've had enough of this shit, and goes and tries to find what's going on with the guy, the Jason Bateman guy. Up until that point, I was like, if I see more people putting luggage on a luggage thing to go through TSA, yeah, I don't need that. I don't need that in my life. So, and we've all been there, so it's annoying in that sense. Also, Taron Egerton, I didn't find him to be very good in this role. Jason Bateman was stellar, even though I confused him with Jason Statham, which would not have been stellar. So, it's a fun little watch. It's something that you can watch with most anybody because it's just like, it's sort of a cops and robbers kind of situation. But it's an interesting premise where you have people doing your bidding, to do bad things, as opposed to the people that are doing them don't want to do them, but they have to because their loved ones are in peril. So,
gotcha. So you have a bunch of like hostagey kind of people forced to do things. So there's,
right.
Like that's good tension. That's a good natural way to do that. That's nice. Is this I'm hearing Christmas but not Christmas? Is this like it's like Die Hard where it's like it happens on Christmas and it's around a Christmas thing, but it doesn't have to be.
Right. It could have been any time of the year.
It's a Nakatomi Plaza situation.
It's made to put on while the whole family's here, and no one's gonna be pissed at it that it's on. It'll be enough. Like the dads will like the action, and then like people can digest the things that are happening. It's fine. No one's gonna be offended by things.
Yeah, and no one made out, so it's not weird to watch in front of your family.
There you go. If you still have people straggling in your home in January and they won't leave, perhaps you could put Carry On, and that'll either make them leave if they're like me, or it'll be palatable if you're like everyone else. So is that what you guys soft recommend?
Depending on their politics and religious situation, you could put Conclave on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Conclave's the one to get people to leave your house. That's going to be the one.
Or sleep, apparently. Or put that on after family dinner. So is that recommends or not recommend? Sounds like you guys are both kind of middle grounding this one.
Yeah, I think it's a thumbs up for me, but I just know you wouldn't like it.
No, I appreciate that.
It's a tiny thumbs up for me. It's a tiny
a very, very soft recommend.
Yes.
Well, why don't I pull Nicole back into the conversation? Because I know you haven't seen much, but I know you saw at least a few documentaries, one of which is brand new. It is on, where would we say this? Max, I believe. It's a football-related documentary.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. I didn't have that on my list.
ChiefsAholic. ChiefsAholic, a wolf in Chiefs clothing. This is a new two-hour documentary on Prime, and it is about this guy who dresses up in a wolf costume and goes to Kansas City Chiefs games, and he's got a big social media following, and they have a mascot. They have like a wolf mascot, but they have all these other guys that go to Chiefs games, you learn, they're like fan mascots. Like a lot of teams have them. You see them on TV. They show the same couple of fans every week. They got the same outfits, and they do their same chants and rile people up. And this wolf, this ChiefsAholic was his name. He had some interesting things happen to him. Why don't you talk about it, Nicole?
Okay, you threw me off here because that was a really long explanation for. I think people understand what a fan is, but talk
about the film. I was setting it up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I actually forgot that we watched this, but it was a rather interesting documentary, and learning a lot about the criminal activity of this ChiefsAholic guy. It's really crazy, the story, and I'm actually more shocked than anything that I never heard about this story before. It's a statewide, like multiple statewide situation. Like, this didn't just happen in Kansas City, Missouri. It's like all over the U.S. that this occurred. What this guy did. So I was just shocked that I didn't hear about this. I think this was in 2019 or 2020.
No, it's even more recently, because remember he was watching Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl.
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
so it was
hotel room.
20.
So I think this last couple seasons, not this last one, but the ones before.
Yeah, it was the early 2020s.
Very recent, couple years.
That this happened, and it's just it follows a bail bondsman that was assigned to this guy, and then some side stories from some people that were affected by the story, but really interesting. I didn't know about it. It's a little long. I feel like the story is a little dragged out, and there's a lot of flashback parts to get the whole story. I wish that it was presented a little bit different, because you have to really pay attention. I mean, not that it really matters that much. You get the gist of the story, but just to jump from 2024 to 2022, then 23, then 22 again, like, that was a little repetitive. But really interesting story. I would recommend it if you're not familiar with it, and if you are, I'm curious of how you knew about it and it wasn't like national news, or how I missed that news. So
do we get a clue as to what happened?
Oh, I suppose. Oh, well, they tell you. He's a bank robber.
Yeah, they tell you pretty early. Yeah, he's a bank robber. I don't think that's a big spoiler. You find out in the first
bank robber.
Third.
But you find out that that his story doesn't match up with what he perceives himself to be on social media.
There's a lot more to his bank robbing than you would think, and he has a family that like kind of follow him around, and he's got a whole network of weird things.
Yeah, I mean, he becomes like a true mascot of this team for the fan base, and a lot of people follow him and like him. He posts for game days and things. People look forward to his posts. He's like a meme.
He's always in like close to front row of Chiefs games too, and like that's how people are like, "How's this guy afford to go?" He's on the road. He goes to all of them. Like this guy would go to all of them. They're like, "Who is this guy? How's he afford this stuff?" Because it's like seems so like crazy. Like he seems like a crazy guy. And then you learn about how he funds all these tickets.
He's not just a bank robber, but you find out a lot about how he earns his money. Yeah, it's interesting.
No,
but.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that I forgot about that. I watched that.
And that, again, was ChiefsAholic, a wolf in Chiefs clothing. That's on Max right now. So, yeah, if you like docs, easy watches, football, true crime, it crosses a lot of Venn diagrams. And it's well made. I liked it. It's a 3-star, nice thing. Nothing crazy to say about it, but solidly made. Didn't upset me like some docs do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to throw out another... we had 2 more documentaries that I recall watching. One of them is just funny to mention. I don't want to talk about it, but I made Brennan watch Zeitgeist. I think it's from...
Oh, God, yeah.
2009, or I think. And it's about this really self-centered documentary maker who loves to hear himself talk. He's like
it's a
who's that guy
conspiracy theory documentary.
Okay, I know, I didn't get there yet. Who's that guy that
okay,
does is it Hans something? What's his name? With the
are you talking about Werner Herzog?
Yeah. He's worse than him.
Werner Herzog.
Yeah, he's worse than him. But it's about 3 conspiracy theories. One's about how there's
worse than him. Werner Herzog's a treasure. First of all, he's like an amazing filmmaker. He's not a weirdo conspiracy theorist.
He's kind of self-centered though. He likes to hear.
He is a real person. This Zeitgeist guy is the biggest pile of oh my god. Go ahead, continue.
Well, there's 3 stories in it. One is a 9/11 conspiracy. One is a World Bank conspiracy, and one is a religious conspiracy. So, I mean, it's, you gotta take it for what it is. If you believe it, that's your problem. If you just want to hear
The
something
World
funny,
Bank one
then
is not even a conspiracy.
That's-
He's
that's
just
it.
explaining how inflation and the Fed work, and it sounds scary because people don't know what the Fed is because they're stupid.
Well, there's
I'm sorry, I'm
4
a money guy. I get
Zeitgeist
pissed off
films. I'm pretty sure there's 4 of them. So if you need more, there's 3 more to watch. But
I'm
it
sorry
was
your
just one
lives
of
are
those-
so pathetic that you need big, scary conspiracies to explain why you're failures. I'm so sorry, you all, but don't
Zeitgeist
watch
is
these
one
things.
of
They're
those
terrible.
things that was like on Tumblr when you were in middle school, and everyone's like, "I found something that's so deep to watch. You gotta
I
watch
remember
this. This will
Tumblr.
answer every question."
Yeah, it's real
about
jet
life.
fuel don't melt steel beams kind of shit. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
garbage. It's,
But I made Brendan watch that because I remember watching it when I was younger, and you know, everyone be like, "Wow, this stuff is so deep," and then you watch it now, and you're like, "Huh, this is really stupid."
This is like a guy who made this on PowerPoint in his basement. I don't know what his credentials are, but he seems to just be taking a lot of things and tying strings together that aren't there. But whatever,
Yeah.
it's fine. Whatever.
So that's Zeitgeist.
Zeitgeist, don't watch it. Do you have any other ones before I turn it back to, we got a big movie to talk about that I know is looming in the foreground?
I do have one more documentary we watched, and then I can shut up for a while, because then I only have one other thing that I think we talked about before. But Brennan and I watched. So, Jess, like you, I have found a woman on Instagram that talks strictly about documentaries. She posts every day a new documentary, and just tells you a little blip about it. And
Oh, nice.
yeah, she's got a lot of different genres of documentary too. So it's not just horror or true crime or anything like that. I think her name is That Documentary Girl. But she had, I know, well, it's easy enough to remember. She had one on there that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make Brendan watch this because people said it was grotesque, and it was. And I was a little
It was.
I was a little shocked at some of the things that they showed on it, but it's called A Certain Kind of Death, and it is a documentary about people that die in the U.S. that do not have any next of kin or anyone to alert of their passing, and what the government does with their belongings and their funds and their wills and things like that when there is nobody
Wait,
to
that
pass
sounds
along the
so
stuff to.
interesting. I
Yeah,
would watch
so it is interesting.
It's old, though, is the only downside, I would say. But
Oh no.
What's
There's
it streaming on?
Death.
a lot of dead bodies in this movie.
they
Freshly
just straight up
dead
show 'em.
bodies. And it's not like glamorized like in a movie where it's like someone with a
No.
sheet over their body. This is like a dead, bloated human. So
Okay with
TLC
that.
shows look sexy compared to this. This is like
Yeah.
grotesque.
And it was very interesting. Just it was a small bit of what I imagined for all these government bodies have to go through to do this. But it followed the one branch that has to identify what funds these people have and how to allocate that to where it has to go and sell their stuff and go in there and look for valuables and things like that. So really interesting. But again, if you're queasy, it's not for you with the bodies.
Where's the streaming on?
So that was on Prime. We found that on Prime. A Certain Kind of
I'm
Death.
gonna watch that.
It's a little
write that
older.
down.
It's from 2003, but it's the story's the same. It's just
Yeah, it's very grainy footage, but because of the subject matter, it kind of adds to it. Could be because of like you're just straight seeing dead bodies and shit, and like you seeing like coroners matter of factly talk about stuff, people just working day-to-day jobs. It's compelling. I liked it more than the ChiefsAholic documentary, as far as just like interesting subject matter.
yeah. So
Well, thank you,
that's it
Nicole. Thank you for bringing the docs to the show. Don't sell your contributions short. We'll talk to you in a bit for some TV.
Okay.
Let's go back to theaters, and Jess, we saw not together, but I know you saw one of the biggest movies of the time of this time, and that is the musical, the green, the pink, the witch, the guy, the city, the Emerald City. We saw Wicked, right, Jess? You see Wicked?
Yes, I did see Wicked.
What if she said no?
Yeah, I don't need to explain. No, I mean that I
JK,
would have gotten
to
bad
lie to
intel,
you.
and I would cut all this out. No, and Mama K, you did not see Wicked, right? It's just Jess and I talking about this one.
I have not seen Wicked.
Wow, I thought you.
So I'm not going to go ahead and
Just-
explain Wicked because that doesn't seem helpful.
Just the
so Jess,
interviews have been compelling.
you've been holding space for them.
I have been holding space, yes.
That's good.
I've
You
been
need to do
holding
that.
tiny fingers also. Yeah.
Jess, what did you think of Wicked?
So I didn't know the storyline Wicked. I've never seen it on Broadway. I've never seen it in theaters. I just know the Wizard of
Same.
Oz. So of course I was confused
Oh, I don't
when
know
I was
that.
like, yeah. So I was like, why is Glinda a bitch? I thought she was the good witch, and why are they in college? So I really didn't know anything about it.
It's an interesting
That's
way
the
to
best
look at
way
it.
going into it.
I
Yeah,
can't say I
I
like
love
the
it.
storyline. I kind of wish it had nothing to do with the Wizard of Oz and it was its own performance, because it just uses the characters, and that's really it. Like there's not really any tie to the original movie or anything. But Wicked itself, I loved Elphaba. She was such a good actress. I don't know if I've seen her in anything. I wish she had her own show. I was just so enthralled by her. Like taken
Cynthia
away,
Erivo.
what's that?
Cynthia Erivo is Elphaba.
Oh, like her
That's
full
the main-
name?
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Harriet.
I loved her so much. Like my takeaway was I want to see more of her in something else. She was so good. The singing, the acting, everything. I just loved her. I thought it was way too much Wicked. It was a very long movie, and I kind of wish the whole thing wrapped up. There's a part 2 coming out in a year or two, and it's not like I'm on my toes to figure out what happened next. I wish I could have watched it in one sitting and be done with it, but now we have to wait. I can understand why it's so long, because they put so much detail in this movie, like the costumes, the dancing, the whole set design. Like, I don't think I've seen a movie this intricate before, but I think it's still way too much Wicked. I would give it a thumbs up. I liked it. I'm not a musical person. I'm not like a theater person, but I did enjoy watching it. I definitely liked it more than Wonka last year. So,
Wow, you liked it
I
more than
recommend.
Wonka.
I mean, I didn't like Wonka that
liked-
much.
Oh, okay. I thought you liked Wonka. Okay, interesting. I thought okay. So Wicked. I'm like you, Jess. I don't know the story of Wicked at all. I actually barely know the story of Wizard of Oz. I don't think I've seen that in its entirety. I kind of get it. Like, I know is the guys on. They all need organs for some reason, and she's lost from her midwestern state, and she has ruby slippers, and there's a house that crushes the lady. I don't know. It never interests me. This is not an interesting story to me. So then I'm watching this, and I'm just trying to like learn. Like, all right, what's the deal here? And my problem with this whole thing is the whole conceit. It doesn't make any. None of it. It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. I don't know what we're doing is the problem, and my problem with Wicked. The songs are very nice. They're catchy. I like when the songs are on and they're singing and dancing, because I like getting swept up in spectacle. But there's no meat on this bone. I don't understand. The whole thing it's the whole thing. Elphaba is green, and that's no good. Like, oh my god, she's green. Everyone gasps. The father's gonna disown her. That's like what he says in the beginning. Is I'm gonna disown her, and then the next scene we see him raising her at 13. But whatever, it's fine. We'll get past stupid things like that. The whole thing is she's green, and she's ostracized because of this. And then in this town, in this world, there are living amongst them tons of talking animals of all stripes. Their teacher's a goat. The midwife that delivers Elphaba, I believe, is a pig or a cow. So my whole point is, she enters a room, everyone stops. Oh, she's green. You're green. Oh my god. But there's just talking animals with suits walking around, and no one gives a shit. And it's a part of the thing. Oh, the wizard is slowly phasing animals out because we don't want that type of. We're trying to unify into one thing. That's a whole big plot line. Okay, fine, but they're not gasping and clutching their pearls at the talking goat at the university. But the lady with the green skin is crazy. It doesn't make any sense. I can't get over it. It doesn't make sense with the world. It doesn't make sense.
I didn't like the plot either. I don't think it was that strong. I don't think there was much to it. It was just like these girls in school, basically.
It's so hard for me to get on board with the movie when I have to believe that every single person on the screen doesn't believe true things, like talking animals are stranger than a green person. They just are. If I saw someone with green skin down the street and I saw my dog in a suit, like buying groceries, I'm sorry, that's weirder than the green skin. It's way weirder. You cannot talk me into, oh no, this world accepts all animals and types and all humans except for green skinned humans for some reason. You cannot get me there. The rest of the movie's fine. Whatever. Jeff Goldblum's funny. I don't care. I'm just so upset by that no one else cares about this. That no one cares about things making sense, and that everyone can just be like, that's fine. I get what they're saying. I get the point. But there's no reality to this. Oh my god. It's tough.
I think sometimes though that happens when you do an adaptation from Broadway. Like, because it's not, when you're seeing a musical on Broadway, there's always things that are just not real about it.
It's more operatic. Like, you can get away with it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No one's at a grocery store and then they start singing about the life they wish they had. That's not reality. It's double reality if they're all Richard Scarry characters, like driving apple cars and shit like that.
It's just so strange, all of it.
So, I mean, and there was just such hype about it that it wasn't going to fail, so...
Too big to fail. No, but whenever they're not doing that, whenever I can forget for 5 seconds that that's the conceit of the movie, is that everyone hates her because she's green, but she's super special and awesome because she's a witch and she has to realize her powers. It's just I like when I think her and Ariana together, if they play off each other fun. Like, I like their songs together. I like their clashing personalities, and they got to grow together. Like, they are selling the two actresses are selling the crap out of this crap, because it's crap. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid, but they're selling it so well.
Isn't the land of Oz? There's the flying monkeys in the original Wizard of Oz. I mean, maybe
those monkeys
that world has a species of talking animal, but green. It hasn't come out yet, Yeah,
they address the flying monkeys in this. We get an origin of the flying monkeys. Actually, it's one of the scarier scenes in the film if you're into the scary things. But it's tough. I don't know. I'm like Jess. I will probably see the second one, but I am not clamoring at all. I'm more like, I need to know, like, because this thing ends and you kind of have an idea of like what's happened now, and like, okay, now you see why all the chess pieces have been moved into position. But like, again, I'm still like, what are we doing? Like, who cares? Like, what are we even
don't really
doing?
Care.
What is the point of this?
Do you also wish it was wrapped up into one movie?
Yeah, it needs to. Well, it needs to, like, I don't know though, because it's so long, and they clearly have a lot to say, and they're not done. And like, I fell asleep in this. Like, I fell asleep probably hour 40 mark, and then I woke up and it was still going. It was one of those. I didn't wake up and like, oh, it's the credits, or like, oh, I only dozed off for a minute. Like, no, I think I was probably out for 20 minutes because I woke up and Jeff Goldblum was on, but I think I only lost like 10 or 20. But yeah, I don't know if you could cram all this into one movie. 4 hours or something. They'd probably try to make it 3 hours. Like, I don't know. John Chu's the director of Crazy Rich Asians and In the Heights, a film that Nicole and I both enjoy.
Oh, I think I liked In the Heights.
Yeah, In the Heights makes sense. I know what's happening. I know the stakes. There's it makes fucking sense. Okay. Anyway, enough about. You have any other thoughts on Wicked, Jess? I give it like a super soft recommend because I like the relationships and I like the singing, and the spectacle is actually it sells correctly. It's just so stupid at its core that it's hard for me to get over.
I think you and I are both on the same page with everything about this movie, so I agree.
How about that? Interesting. Well, then I'm going to talk about one more movie that I don't think anyone else has seen, and then I'll kick it back over to you guys for some TV talk. But first, new Robert Eggers film is in theaters right now. You guys know Robert Eggers? Have I talked about this wonderful gentleman before? He's directed films like The Northman, The Witch, Nicole's favorite, The Lighthouse. Oh yes. One of the finest directors of our time, and he is back with the retelling of a 100-year-old rip-off tale. He's made a new version of Nosferatu.
Oh, wait, can we talk about this later? Because I actually want to see this.
You do want to see it, Jess? I'm going to tell you right now.
It's in SpongeBob. So...
Oh my god, it straight up is in SpongeBob. Yes, it is. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'll go brief. I really liked it a lot. It's a me horror movie, though, Jess. It's not a you horror movie. I'll just tell you right now. It's not going to be It's
right, well,
fucking scary as fuck, but it's not a jump scary movie. It's much more in the midsummer. What's another
I
kind of
think
movie like
I
this?
still want to see it.
You'd still like it. I'm giving you the warning that it's not Smile 2. You know, it's gonna be it's much slower burn than that. But
All right,
yeah,
fair.
I don't know if people know the story of Nosferatu. It's a vampire. He lives in a castle, and he's trying to move, and this guy's got to like facilitate the move. He's got a wife. The wife has a psychic sexual connection to Nosferatu, and I don't need to go into more of that. It's got a lot of themes. Black Plague is in the background. Yeah, it's really, really well done. I think this is probably, I like The Northman better, but I think this is probably his most like accessible movie. Like I think it's still super weird and heady, but I think most general audiences could kind of understand it. I think it's got 85 Rotten Tomatoes, but I think the audience score is also still in the 70s, so it's not like alienating the audience. I think most people can jump on board. So yeah, Nosferatu, I'd recommend it, Jess. Maybe you'll talk about it on the next roundup.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I have one more movie.
Oh, you do? Okay, before we get into TV
do.
time. I have a
do
couple
too.
more too, but we'll
Okay,
do
there's more movies too.
Okay.
I'll make mine quick because it's not a new movie. But over the holidays, I watched for the first time Baby Driver.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I never saw
Yeah.
that before.
Has everyone here seen Baby Driver? Just Mama K?
Yeah.
Don't think I have, but I remember the trailer.
Yeah, I'm surprised I never saw it before, but I found the score and the way that the music was used in this movie to be incredible. I mean, you'd have to watch it a couple times, I think, to get all of the little nuances that they use. But
Yeah.
for everything was thought of in that sense, and that made it so great to watch because it's things I would never even think of to do, and I really enjoyed that part of it. The story was interesting too. I liked it overall. But I mean that's just was the best part of it was the music and the synchronized beats and things like that. That was awesome. So I'm glad that I watched that.
Yeah,
we reviewed that, and that was the part of it that it was that's stellar.
Yeah.
Just,
Did we review Baby Driver?
The way the music.
Did we already start the show by then?
I think so.
Oh wow, it's hard to
Well,
remember.
if we didn't review it, then you and I must have talked about it because.
Well, we did Last Night in Soho because it's an Edgar Wright movie. So I think, but that's I don't.
Oh, so maybe
I feel like
maybe we didn't review it, but
yeah, Edgar Wright to jog people's memory, he's in the Cornetto trilogy, which is Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End.
Right.
And then he did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, probably his most famous American movie, and then this Baby Driver, and then the one we talked about. But he's in the Never Made a Bad Movie Club for me, in my opinion. I don't think any of his movies. I think all his movies are excellent.
yeah, I think so too.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed Baby Driver, Nicole, and yeah, good call out. Our family member suggested that, so it was it's his favorite film. Good movie to pick for your favorite film.
Oh,
No qualms with that.
that's good.
TV, Jess and okay,
So-
you guys were talking about.
Wait a minute, I watched another movie.
I do too, but we're gonna come back around.
Watched,
Just
Brennan.
do the TV. I want you guys to talk about the TV show.
Oh my golly!
But Problemista. Okay.
Oh, you want to talk about Problemista first?
Well, I mean that's something we both watched.
We did. Okay, all right. We'll do the TV show after. I do want to talk about Problemista though, because I'm glad you watched it. You watched Problemista?
I watched Problemista.
Yes. Oh god, I'm so glad someone else watched this. So breakdown for our other two co-hosts who have forgotten what my diatribe was. I'm sure about Problemista. What is Problemista?
Problemista is a young guy, 21, who is in the United States from El Salvador. El Salvador, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's here on a visa. He gets he needs to find another job to keep his visa. He has 30 days to do this, and his job that he gets let go from is he's managing one person who's been cryogenically frozen, who is a really unknown, not well received artist because he only paints pictures of eggs. And he winds up working with the person who's frozen, his wife, who's Tilda Swinton. character, who's maniacally out of her mind in this movie.
Like every other movie
He winds up working for her.
The artist that's frozen,
next
who's her husband, is
30
RZA, by the
days.
way, from Wu-Tang Clan, if that helps add to the picture.
Oh,
Yes, her husband is RZA from.
Yeah, Tilda Swinton and RZA are an art couple in this movie.
okay.
Yeah, I dig it. It's a lot. It's a weird movie. It's the premise is interesting, but also just the affectations of the main character, Alejandro, are just a little like wild for me. He bounces up and down when he steps, and I don't understand what it's like. He's
a jittery
walking,
little guy.
He's like one of the. He's from Scooby-Doo. Like, you know how when they walk in Scooby-Doo, they're all kind of
Yeah,
bouncing
he
up and down?
is.
That's what he looks like.
From like
I'm
the old ones with like the little
how is
black
that
lines
possible?
around him for the animation lines. He does have that kind of like, yeah.
Yeah, or the Peanuts characters, they kind of bounce up and down when they walk. But this guy does that in real life. Anyway, it's interesting. Tilda Swinton's fabulous. And the concept is just actually crazy wild. So
Tilda Swinton's so good in that
movie.
because she comes in and I like her and then I hate her and then I like her again by the end of the scene, and that happens most of the time. She comes in where I'm just like,
Yeah.
this is too much, and then she'll win me back over. I'm like, no,
Yes.
it's not. It's just right. Maybe more actually. Like, yeah, no, she's really good.
Yeah.
There's scenes that stand out to me in this movie. Like, I'll never forget the Bank of America scene when his card gets like scammed and he's trying to talk to that one
Yes.
woman like, please, I don't even need the money, I just need you to understand I'm a person, please. And she's, I stand with Bank of America, sir.
I stand with America. Yeah.
He's got an eye. This guy is Julio Torres. He's the writer, director, and star, and he has another show that's on Max called Los Spookies. It's a Spanish speaking like comedy show, but funny guy. I like this guy.
Yeah. It's good.
I'm glad you saw Problemista.
Okay, sorry.
You recommend?
Yeah.
Okay, now
Yeah, recommend.
now we can do TV, which will also be you, because I think you and Jess said you guys saw a TV show that's relatively popular on Netflix. Is that right?
Yeah, Missing You.
Netflix.
Missing You.
Missing You.
So, okay, why don't you keep going with synopses since you're on a roll. What's Missing You?
Missing You is a Harlan Coben. Harlan Coben writes a lot of these things for Netflix, and they're British traditionally. And this one is about a woman who has lost a person in their past, and all of these things happen, and they wind up crossing paths again. And it's mysterious. It kept me wanting to watch the next episode. It was really bingey.
It
Don't
was
you
good
think,
at
Jess?
being bingey. I agree. And it was
Interesting.
only.
Almost
I don't know
like-
if it was a great.
It honestly, it felt like a long movie because it was 5 episodes, and it was under 4 hours. It might even been like 3.5. Like, it really wasn't. You can watch it easily in one sitting. I actually told my mom to do it like yesterday. It was good.
Yeah.
It like Mama Kay said, it was very bingey, but I would say it's still Netflix quality. Like, the plot just was too webbed. Like, there's way too many coincidences. So much it was almost like an eye roll. You could have taken some of the webs of the plot out. It would have been a lot better. But it was a fun watch. It made you want to keep watching it. If you just want to sit down and watch TV, I would recommend it.
Have you seen other Harlan Coben things?
I don't, but now I think I want to watch more of them. I think I saw
He has better ones.
What's
Harlan.
another
How do you spell his
Harlan
last name?
Coben production? Yeah, what's another one of his oeuvre?
I couldn't even tell you what they're called,
Oh,
because they all sound like Behind Her Eyes. You know.
Oh, is that
kind of
one
stuff.
of them? I saw Behind Her Eyes
Yeah,
recently,
maybe
too.
something like
I might have seen The Stranger.
that might be-
Actually, I think I've seen The Stranger when that
The
came
Stranger.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That
looking
might
at
be
these
the only
things
one.
here.
Yeah,
If I
they're all-
recognize any of this stuff. Oh my god. Yeah, these are the. Oh god. Yeah, these are not my things.
No, you
But
wouldn't,
I don't
you
know if
wouldn't
it
like
was
this
the-
at all.
No, there for a couple months there, Nicole. I can't remember what you were watching. They were like all these shows with like Taraji P Henson and like Bobby Cannavale, and they were just like trying to solve bullshit in towns, and everyone had fake identities, but they were just like
that one with Bobby Cannavale was horrible. The letters, I think the letters.
The one with the letters in the house with the mail was bad. Then there was one, I think it was Taraji P. Henson, but I can't remember it, where she had like a second life, and she was trying to run from it, and there's bodies in the woods, and there's a club in the woods
offense,
that
but
they
I would
go
never
to.
watch anything with Taraji P. Henson in it, so it couldn't have been her.
It's got Eddie Izzard is one of the guys. Who's the main woman then? I can't remember. Alfred Woodard.
I watched
maybe?
that one.
What am I thinking of?
And the arm gets chopped off.
The
hand gets chopped off of Eddie Izzard.
Oh god, yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but they're all that show. Where they're all made to. I think Kate was pointing out at the beginning. They're made to be binged. Like, they're really mediocre material, but if you leave the episode on an interesting part, then they'll just watch the next one, and then you can watch 6
That's
mediocre
exactly
episodes because there's a good hook at the end of the mediocre episode. It's diabolical.
Just for women that like the true crime kind of thing, that are like probably in a book club. Like, I think it's like for that kind of scene.
Maybe that doesn't describe me, but it might be.
I was like, not you. Yeah, you just
club.
retired. Give it a few weeks.
Yeah, I could definitely see you being in a book club.
Oh, well, I've already done my book club days, I think.
Book Club 3, the final chapter. So you guys recommending this? What is this? This Harlan Coben thing?
Yes, but not for the.
I don't think I'm recommending this one.
Not for the quality. Again, it's just like the other shows. You're gonna hate it. The plot has just things that can be taken out. But again, I enjoyed watching it, and I wanted to binge a show, and I did it, and I was glad that I did it. So.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I watched it so I wouldn't have to watch something like Independence Day for the 4,000th time or something like that. I was like, I have to find something that your dad will sit and watch with me that's not something I've seen a million times. So
interesting.
I
I know
what show you're talking about, and I can't find it, but Eddie Izzard goes by Susie now, just so you know.
Oh, I thought he was what's it? What's the one that switches back and forth? Fluid. I thought he's gender fluid.
Yeah.
Or they're gender fluid.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, so she goes by she and said you can use either name.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's I thought they were a fluid, but okay, cool. Good to know. Susie
Well,
Eddie.
when you find that show, let me know, because I don't remember what show that is.
Yeah.
I just watched it, so I'll look it up and see.
Someone who's not talking can look it up. But I think I have to ask Jess something, because Jess is the one who's been pulling the theater work recently. I've been gallivanting. I've been derelict in my duties. Mama Kay's been busy, and Nicole just won't go. So that leaves Jess. And Jess, I know you saw.
Thanks, Jess.
I know you saw a new animated film. I know you saw a new based on a true story person kind of film. So you tell me, what do you want to talk about of the theater movies you've seen?
I'll do like a fast 1 minute hit for each of them. How's that?
How about that? That sounds great. And we'll tell you. And at the end of each one, we'll say if we would want to see it or not based on your description.
Okay, I'll start off with Lion King. So Kyle, that's his favorite like childhood movie, like many other millennials. We saw
You're talking the new Mufasa film, right? Just want to make sure we're not talking about the 1994 Lion King, the 2019 Lion King, any of the TV spin-offs.
No.
We're talking about Mufasa, the new. Yes, go ahead.
Mufasa. So he's been looking forward to this all year, and what happened is what I was afraid was going to happen. He put too much hype into this. He was so ready for it. He basically thought it was going to be a Lion King, like 2 or 3 or whatever. And I'm like, it's not going to be as good as you think. Like, it's just going to be like a movie. So you see it with his whole family on Christmas, and his little spirit was crushed because he didn't like it. It was kind of cheesy. And I'm like, I told you put expectations were way too high. I think I was the only one that actually liked the movie out of like the whole family.
Oh, you liked it? Okay.
So I liked it. The music was terrible. The songs were so bad. Like, they were trash. Like, I think all of us collectively could write better songs than what's in the movie right now.
I actually haven't heard any, which is pretty damning. So
bad. There was a few scenes that were just terrible, but I liked the plot. I liked following Simba, Mufasa. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was cute at times. I don't know if the whole revelation of why Scar became evil makes total sense, because it seems like it was a matter of something so stupid. But I enjoyed it. So I gave it a thumbs up. But if you're a Lion King stan and you basically want this to be another Lion King, like, don't have those expectations.
Did he see the live action remake of Lion King from 4 or 5 years ago or whatever it was, and he liked that?
Yeah, he saw that. He liked that.
That's interesting, because I'm all over the place on the live action remakes. Most of them I like kind of middle or less, but not always. Like, I think Jungle Book is way better live action, and then Aladdin, same thing. I love that way better. But like Lion King, huge miss for me. Like the original Lion King, that's like a top 10 all time Disney film, whereas the new one is like super wrong. It's so like pale and weird, and couldn't do it. But I guess based on, did you like the new Lion King, I guess, then? The one before this one. The live-action one.
I don't know if I've seen it. I've definitely seen the trailer, and I thought it looked awkward. I think they fixed some of it and implemented it here, because I think this one looks a lot better.
Interesting. Any interest based on that description, Mama Kay or Nicole? And Mufasa?
No.
Yeah. Yeah,
Shocker.
no. I didn't really love the live action Lion King either, so I don't know that a Scar origin story is gonna do it for me.
Yeah, well, I might see it when it comes out streaming if it's available, but I'm not. Lion King is the first one is just so special. There's no reason to. That's one you shouldn't really touch. But on to the next. Jess, what's the next theater movie you got for us?
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan, a complete unknown, starring your favorite, everyone's favorite, Timothy.
I know,
Chalamet,
Timothy Chalamet's like second Christmas movie. I remember watching Wonka last year and be like, man, this guy cannot sing. Like, he was okay in Wonka. He probably hit it.
You were the biggest Chalamet hater I know. You really are. I don't know anyone who dislikes him as much as you.
I've never liked him, but I was like, man, this man cannot sing. And then here we are, a year later, doing a biopic.
Where he sings as one of the worst singers ever. So
of a singer.
Yeah.
A bad singer.
That's true.
So watching this, I would say I'm pretty good at music in the 70s and 80s and 90s, just because that's what I grew up listening to. I watched this movie assuming that I could like follow some of the songs. I'm sure there were songs that I would know and be like, oh, that's Bob Dylan. I don't think I knew like one or two of these songs. I thought I probably would recognize them. I didn't recognize any, so I knew nothing about Bob Dylan. I think the movie was good, but I hated watching it because Bob Dylan is such an asshole, and he's just so mean, and he's so rude, and I hate watching movies where the protagonist is a jerk for no reason. Like, he's not even good looking. Like, I know I don't like Timothy Chalamet, but even looking at pictures of Bob Dylan growing up, I'm like, he's not even a hot rock star. It's not like he's Elvis, where he can be mean because he's hot. Like, he's not. He's just a loser who's good at writing. So,
with a bad voice.
Yeah.
You don't like his voice.
I wanted to punch him the entire time because he had no reason for being like so rude to everyone around him. I did like Joan Baez or Joni Baez. So the whole time I thought this was Joni Mitchell.
Joan Baez.
Yeah,
Joan Baez.
So the whole time when they said Joan, I was like, oh, this is Joni Mitchell. And then I realized when I looked it up later, no, this is this whole other girl that I didn't know, which I was surprised because I thought my music sense from the 70s and 80s were good, but I guess not as good as I expected. I like her a ton in this movie. She has a great voice, great character. I honestly want to see a biopic about her. So after watching this movie, I was more interested about her.
There you go.
So I think I recommend it because it's a good biopic, but I personally don't like the main character. So
yeah, it's tough. I really dislike biopics. I don't like Bob Dylan's music. There's really not a lot pulling me into this one. I'm interested in. I like a good side character, so that could be something. But Mama Kay and Nicole, any interest in this Bob Dylan film?
I can't stand Bob Dylan, so no.
I also cannot.
Yeah, this is the
All
wrong.
right, Bob Dylan.
I'm surprised you saw this. Like, you not a Timothy
is the
Chalamet
wrong
podcast, not a
podcast
Bob
for Bob
Dylan
Dylan.
podcast. It's but
No,
I'm
and
glad
I
you.
assume
Right.
I would recognize Bob Dylan songs, and I guess I'm not a Bob Dylan fan either.
I gotta say, I don't really know if I know his songs either. I know he's like some amazing writer and so deep and everything, but like I don't know. I'm sure it's fine.
They
There's a
also
lot of stuff out
made
there.
It,
I think
it's
made
weird.
it kind of political, but didn't
Drugs.
add enough politics, so you wouldn't really understand what the two sides were about. So that was a little confusing too.
Oh, you gotta
But
love when
anyway.
a movie does that.
Yeah.
Let's do the next one,
Next
Jess.
movie, Babygirl. I watched this because I love Nicole Kidman. I've always loved her, and I feel like I've watched like maybe a couple movies and a couple shows this year just because she's in it. I don't know why this was a Christmas movie, but this was the Christmas movie this year. I wish, actually, Brendan, I wish you would watch this because the intern boy, like, I want you and I to joke about him because he's just like a total frat guy and it's just so funny. Like, actually, you should watch it so we can talk about him.
Okay, I get what you're putting down.
You need some inside joke.
Yeah,
I thought this
I
movie-
get it. I think I know it. Yeah.
I thought this movie was just mid. I don't know. It was definitely had a lot of like sex scenes and stuff, but that's kind of what you expected from watching the trailer. I think Karen kind of described it perfectly. She was like, it was erotic, but not erotic enough, or something like that. And I'm like, I can kind of see what she's seen from there.
I say overall, did Karen enjoy? Because she's her opinion carries weight around these parts.
Oh yeah, Karen liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like something I'd like, just
Friend of
haven't
the
gotten
show,
around
Karen.
to it. It's one that fell through the cracks, and it was only playing for a minute out here, so I
Yeah.
was busy seeing Nosferatu.
It was very typical, like what you thought would happen definitely happened, and how it ended is how you think it would ended. So there's no twists or turns here. You're just literally enjoying the ride because it's a spicy movie. So
Let's say for those
Babygirl.
we've kind of danced around it. It's an age gap. Wow, age gap, toxic romance, corporate love story kind of thing, right? With Nicole Kidman as the older woman and then the young guy. Like that's the gist.
yeah.
Or am I wrong? Am I off base here? I thought that's what I got from the trailers.
All right, last movie, Sonic 3. I think you and I talked about Sonic 1. I think I saw Sonic. We both saw Sonic 1. I completely.
I think we
hated
reviewed
it.
Sonic 1. Yeah.
Okay, so I remember we reviewed Sonic 1. I hated it. So I was like, fuck no, I'm not seeing Sonic 2. Sonic 3.
This is Sonic
had great
3.
Yeah, Sonic 3 had great reviews, and I had PTSD from Sonic 1. But then I looked at it more, I'm like, fuck, Idris Elba is in it. God damn it. I
Oh
have
my
to see
God,
it.
Jess!
You have
You
to
went and
I
saw
know.
Sonic
It's your
3
duty.
for Idris Elba and the Rotten Tomato score.
I did, because of it. And then watching it, I was like,
How many
this is
times?
just giving me Sonic 1 vibes. It's so bad.
How many times have you
hated
been
it.
tricked by Idris Elba on a high Rotten Tomato score? Dozens,
I
probably.
know. So bad.
He's usually a
It doesn't
cowboy.
matter.
Usually he's
corny.
not in a Sonic movie, but
There was only one Jim Carrey scene that I laughed out loud that I thought was funny. So Jim Carrey is the villain, and Jim Carrey is like pretty old looking now, and he plays
He's
himself
over 60.
as the yeah. So he plays himself as his like long lost grandfather, which is so dumb because he really just should have been his father. Because he already looks old. Then he plays this old guy who's his grandfather, who, like, realistically should be well into his hundreds. So I was like, why don't you just say this is my long-lost dad?
oh yes, the age continuity errors in the Sonic film, amazing.
Yeah, they're trying to pretend like Jim Carrey is, like, 42. But I'm like, no.
You're making me want to go see this, Jess. I know it's terrible, but I do
And
kind
then
of.
what pissed me off the most was after the movie, I completely forgot Idris Elba was in it, and I don't even know which character he was. I didn't even hear his voice in the movie. So that's what got me.
Oh, he was
most
just a
mad.
voice. He wasn't even Idris Elba.
Well, no, it's a cartoon, so he's a cartoon character. I don't know which one.
Well, I know, but there's some like Jim Carrey's not a cartoon in it, and like there's a couple other actors in it, right? Like it's not only
everyone's
cartoons.
a cartoon except for Jim Carrey and like the
Wait, what?
Like the couple.
I was saying in the
there's, like-
first one, in the first one, only
no.
Sonic is the only cartoon, and now you're telling me the whole world is a cartoon, and only Jim Carrey and the other guy are real.
Actually, wait, maybe no. You're right. There's just more. There's just more characters. But Idris Elba was not in it as
What is
himself.
happening?
He was a character, and I don't even know which one he was, and I didn't even channel his voice, so I was upset about that.
You should gotta do your research, Jess. I could have told you that one. That he was probably just a voice. And well, so Sonic 3. Any takers? Anyone interested?
No, sorry, not even for Idris Elba.
Any more, Jess?
I don't know. This Regals app sucks, so like it keeps deleting all my purchases. So I think that's it. But
I think you said you saw on Apple TV, and Mama Kay talked about it in our last roundup. But Wolves with Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
I don't remember you talking about that. I watched that a few days ago. I thought it was the funniest thing. I loved it. I thought it was so funny. Kyle thought it was cheesy, and I thought it was great. So I liked it a lot.
Sounds about right. That sounds about right. Is that your thoughts, Mama Kay? Cheesy and great?
I thought it was just great.
It was both of those
Yeah.
things. Fun to watch. George Clooney and Brad Pitt are always fun to watch
Just to get a play off of each other.
together.
I'll do one because I got one more 2024 movie before we switch back to Nicole, because I think Nicole's got something to talk about. But I watched on Amazon
something to
Prime
wrap up.
from earlier this year, My Old Ass. My Old Ass.
That
it's
looks so bad.
It was not a Jess movie. I would never recommend this to you. It stars Maisie Stella and Aubrey Plaza, where Aubrey Plaza plays an older version of that character. So it's the main thing is this woman. She's like 20. She's young. She's a young adult. And she's leaving her family farm and going to wherever school or job or I don't know something. She's having one last summer hurrah with her friends. They do mushrooms, and she runs into her older self, her old ass. It's Aubrey Plaza is her 20 years in the future, and she's very vague about everything. She doesn't want to give a lot of details, but she's like, don't be nicer to your family, blah blah blah. Hang out with them, don't stay away from guys named Chad. And then the next day, guess who shows up? Guy named Chad. So the whole movie is the younger self tried not to fall in love with Chad, while older self mysteriously says don't fall in love with Chad. And it's a 90-minute movie. I don't want to give away the spoilers of Chad and his ultimate things and why Aubrey Plaza is doing what she's doing, or it's a cute little reveal. You could probably get there when you're watching it, but it's nice, and it's an overall 3.5, 4-star kind of movie. The director did oh God, what did she do? She did another film that I liked more than this one. That's why I saw this one. Give me one sec. Oh, The Fallout from a couple years ago. It was on my top 5 of the year. The school shooter movie with that dancer and Jenna Ortega, Maddie Ziegler. You guys remember The Fallout? I think all you guys saw it, but none of you. I don't know if any of you guys liked it as much as I did.
Yeah, I remember. And we didn't.
Thank you, Nicole. Well, anyway, Megan Park, she made this film, and I didn't like it as much as The Fallout, but it's definitely a lighter, more fun kind of movie. And it's good. It's a solid coming of age.
I watched a little bit of it. I thought it was fine as well. I wasn't as involved in watching it, but the twist at the end there, it caught me off guard, but in a good way. It was a nice movie.
It wasn't as, because I had heard the twist, like, even if you see it coming, is very effective. I had heard tears. I didn't get tears for this one. I'm a pretty easy tear target, so like if it doesn't get it out of me, that does say something. So it's solid 3.5 star in construction, but I just don't think it quite hits those emotional strings that I think it was going for. But The Fallout does. I love her first film, The Fallout, so I'm on board for Megan Park films in the future. And Nicole, since you were just chiming in, why don't you wrap back around to the thing you've been teasing this whole episode?
Well, it's not really a tease. I talked about it last time.
You've been talking about it. It's been built up.
Talking about.
I've dove in even deeper into CSI New York.
CSI New York from the 2000s, 2010s.
2009. I think I'm in 2009 right now.
You're in the meat.
But it's just so weird how it came about, us watching this, and like I mentioned, I think I talked about this last time, that we were just reminiscing about what we used to watch as kids,
Teenagers, whatever.
And I always said that I was a CSI Las Vegas fan, and Brendan said, no, New York is the better one. So I put on 3 random episodes from Las Vegas, New York, and Miami just to compare, and found that Miami was absolutely the worst of all 3 of them.
Miami's so bad. It's unwatchable.
And
the other 2 are fine.
Trash.
Miami not
should have
fine.
given...
Wait,
Yeah,
what
I'll
makes
have
them
to give-
different?
Well, it's a whole different cast for all of them. Obviously different locations. But they're all the same. They're all the crime scene investigating detective teams.
The
for
vibe's
those
a little
respective
different based on the
cities.
cast, I would say. Like, because of the cast kind of brings a vibe to it, I would say. Like, the Miami cast is such a plastic, fake bullshit. Like, I can't take any of them, like, real. They're so network TV. They're like a 911 show. Where, like, CSI New York and the original one have a little bit more... They feel like they care more. I don't know. It just feels a little better.
But the stories
anyway,
also are defined by the location. So you're going to get a lot more
true.
nightclub party stuff in New York City, and then there's people in the desert in Las Vegas. So it's just different setups for the stories. But when we did that, I just picked a random episode in the series. They're on Hulu. So I picked like season 3, episode 4. I'm like, let's just try something in the middle of the pack, and I just started there and kept going. So I missed like 3 full seasons of watching it, but now I'm hooked and I can't go back because I need to know what's happening now. I can't wait that long to watch 40 episodes to get to where I am. So I just started in the middle. Maybe I'll go back at the end and watch the ones before it, but man, I'm hooked. They're like 45-minute episodes, which are so easy to watch when there's no commercials, when there's no cable network commercials for like when you were younger watching it. So I can keep going. I put it on while I'm washing dishes or doing a craft or something, and I'm hooked. I'm not ashamed either. I like it.
I love how Nicole is always committed to these older TV shows that have like so many seasons, and then she dives right into it.
I know.
I actually gave it here a couple
I
months ago.
know.
My entire life is The Sopranos. I am a Soprano now. This is what I
did.
am.
I started to get a little more in my accent, and things were happening. I was
She's dressing like
falling-
Gary Sinise now when she comes around the house. She's got the black and gray blazer.
I was falling into the soprano lifestyle. I was ready to be a mob wife, and that
I know you kept talking about. Would you?
Bad.
You could be like, how would you like if I just got a bunch of really big jewelry? I'm like, Nicole, calm down. Like, what is happening? Try wearing like a few things first that you have, like before you.
Well, I'm really excited to see that CSI New York has 9 seasons, and right now I'm in season 5, so I've got a ways to go.
It is.
I will say you're in the best of it right now. Like,
and there's
my
so much
favorites were...
left, and you're just like, this is good. I've got stuff to look forward to.
Oh,
Yep.
it's the best.
I can put it on anywhere,
I had that with
anytime.
I had that with a podcast where I listened to, I think, 20 episodes in a row the first day. They're all like 20 minutes. So I put them on in the morning at work and just binged the whole entire day. And I think the podcast is like 200 and something episodes. I was like, oh my God, I got months of entertainment. It's going to be so good. Mm-hmm. So good when you find a good long one. CSI New York, Nicole. I'm glad you enjoy. I have more movies that they're kind of older. They're not really relevant stuff, so I'm going to hang on to those in case we have to fill time in the future. Does anyone else have any more newer TV or movies? Or CSI New York, that's fine too. But anyone else have anything to wrap up?
I have something to add. Actually, this is a good way to end it. Well, two things. One, I'm rewatching Severance. Very anticipated for season 2.
We will do so. I think we should do a standalone Severance when that comes out. I'm down to do a standalone Severance. We're gonna have a lot to talk about. Full spoilers, the full 9. We'll do a Severance episode.
Okay, and then secondly, this goes out to Nicole and Mama Kay. Are you guys gonna watch Meghan Markle's new show on Netflix? Because I definitely am.
I didn't even know there was a show on Netflix.
She has a new cooking show that's going to come out.
I don't have Netflix, unfortunately, and I feel like if I did, my answer would still be the same. So you'll have to report back to us on that one.
How many
That's what the show's for.
episodes
You're going to
is it?
report back in March or whatever when it comes out and let us know how mediocre the
I don't know.
Meghan
It
Markle
hasn't
cooking
come
show
out yet.
is.
I'll send you the trailer on Instagram, but I'm definitely
You think I'll
watching
get
it.
hooked?
Yeah.
Well, we did that.
Okay.
That back when we were
Yeah, I
doing
need to see
host
in
picks.
advance.
That was I don't remember who picked it, but someone picked the royal interview with Oprah.
That was probably...
That was me.
You. I was going to say that might have been me.
It was one of you.
Yeah, it was totally me.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an episode we did for sure. All right, so we got
That was an
we got
episode.
the Megan cooking show coming up. We've got Megan cooking show. What was the other one you said?
It's a cooking show?
Severance.
Severance, right? You said a cooking show, right?
Severance.
Yeah, Meghan Markle's cooking show.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a cooking
You guys
show?
didn't
I
hear
don't
that?
know
That's
about
what, you better
No, I didn't.
disconnect.
Jess's mic is cutting out a little bit, so...
No, I didn't either, but it makes it less likely that I'll watch it.
Interesting. Well, we will wrap
Yeah,
up there
we'll
with
see.
the anticipation. And coming up down the pike in the next episode is our superlative show of the year. We're combining the draft show and the top 5 show into one mega show this year. So we're kind of tightening up the draft, doing our bottom 5s and top 5s like usual. And yeah, it'll be one big show that comes out at the end of January. So look forward to that. If you have things to recommend to us in the meantime, we'll probably be doing, you know how the beginning of the new year is. I'm sure our February catch-up show is. When we do this in a month, it'll be, beginning of the year is tough usually. Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Brennan_podhost. You can email the show, filmswiththewomen@mylife not the whole thing. I'm so rusty. filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. And we are on YouTube. Just search Films with the Women in My Life. And that is going to do it for our catch-up show for the end of this year. 2024 in the books. Good year for movies. Thank you guys for being on.
Yay.
Yay.
I'll catch up with you guys in a few
Cheerio.
weeks in our top end of the year show. Until next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening and enjoy your movies.